Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video, and this one is definitely a little bit different from what I normally do. On this side I've got a 3x12 layout happening, and then I have this insert, and this is a new one for me. To my knowledge, in a 6x12 album I've never done this before, where I have a horizontal side-by-side 3x4 by itself. So kind of a new thing, which is fun, exciting, a little nerve-wracking. So I have this side and then also the back side. So I have to find multiple cards to fit in here. And I would really like to be able to find some that are transportation specific, because this was all about taking the train from Brussels. We took the high-speed train from there to Lille, France, which is just over the border. So I want to showcase that. I do have stamps that are all about transportation, and particularly train and bus travel. So I am certainly okay with using those stamps to create my own cards if needed. But I know that I have some cards in my general travel stash that say things like en route or in transit or things like that. So I think my first task is to just go into all of those cards and see what I can find. So I did go into my bin of stuff first that I have for the trip, and my stamps are in there. This is the stamp set that's all about travel, bus and train, so certainly I can use that. This one also says exploring Europe and then has a train on it, so that's also an option. And I kind of like this one because it looks like a high-speed train, like a faster one, so might use those. But I did find 3 cards as well. And I kind of forgot I had these in there. I have this one that says Bon Voyage, black and white, or with blue. I would probably go black and white here, and then I could maybe stamp the train or something like that. And then I forgot I had thrown this one in there. I have this card that's just a map of France, and then my thought was probably that I would just like put a little star or a dot and then write Lille, so you could see like where we were going in France. So I have that. And then I also have this one. And it is a 4x6. That's not going to work here. If I use it, I'm going to have to cut it, but I'm totally fine with that as well, because even if I did sort of cut off half, you'd still see this part, which is actually pretty perfect. So I'm cool with all of those. I'm just not sure if they're all quite going to work as is, or if I have to alter them or perhaps find something else. I did also pull out this sheet of chipboard because I have some different things on here. Travel, let's go. Now I do have Bon Voyage there. It does say it on the other card. But again, it just means I have more options with what I can do. So I do have all these, and I like the idea of using this one because it kind of matches the sky here, but it's quite long. This is one where I might actually have to put it on the outside of the page protectors in order to use it. I think I have figured out the front sides of these. I want to use this Bon Voyage right here. I'm going with the black and white because it does match better with the train haul. And then my daughter's wearing black here, so that works better. And then this one I am going to use, I am going to cut it, and it will be in this slot right here because there's some blue happening. Blue here and here. I feel like that'll work better. And then on the back side will be the map of France. I'll just mark Lille on there. And I think it goes well with the gray and white that's happening here. So I have all of that figured out, I think. It doesn't seem that complicated, so I'm hoping that this goes pretty easily. So because I need to cut down this card, I want to do that right away. So I've got it lined up here. 2-3 inches, which is what I need. And then I still have the other half of the card that I could use for something else, which is great, so I don't feel like I'm wasting it. But now this one is ready to go. I think I figured out some of what I want to do here. And I was looking at the colors that are in these photos. I obviously have the blue happening. There's also a little bit of red, and then there's this goldish color in my sweater. I do think I'm actually, oh, some of these are falling out here. I do think I'm actually going to use this little flag here or pennant and just like put it up top to bring in this color. And the other thing is I know I've mentioned this before, I'm not really a banner person. I don't like them in particular. So I would never use these like as a banner. So I got to find some other way to use them, or they're just going to sit there. So if I actually kind of like just do that just to bring in the color, I'm totally okay with it if that's all it ends up being. I did it here, that up there, and then to bring in that color in 3 places, because then I have a visual triangle, I think I'm going to take this photo and actually take this little geotag that also came on this chipboard sheet and just put it like right up top, like that. And I think that will help tie that all together. So I've glued everything down there, but I decided to switch these 2 photos. I didn't like that these cards would have been next to each other. I think it would look better having them separated. So I'm going to do that configuration instead. And I think I'm going to probably do my journaling here, which means I have to add something here. So it's either another piece of this chipboard of some type, or stamping, or just something. When I was trying to figure out what to do with this card, I decided maybe I needed to have some separation there. And I pulled out some washi. And I was looking at this one because I love the color of it. It is kind of a bold pattern. And I've got pattern here and here and in the ceiling and here. So it's a lot. But I'm thinking if I just do it like part of the way across, that it might be okay. And then underneath there on this lower side, then I can stamp something. So I have the card all ready, and I'm going to use the stamp that says in transit, and I'm going to put it right underneath here. So I have my ink pad out, the stamp is on there, and I'm ready to go. I've done my stamping and it came out perfectly, which is awesome. And I should say that this stamp set is called Buses and Trains, and it's from Everyday Explorers. To finish off this card, I am going to just put a staple in there through the washi. It adds some nice visual contrast, I think. And then, is that ready? I almost feel like maybe it needs something else. I don't want to overdo it. But maybe. I'm going to leave it for now, and then I'll come back to it after I've finished everything else. To make my card here, I needed something pretty small to designate where Lille is located. And I don't really have anything teeny tiny. These are about the smallest that I could find. And I think I'm actually going to use this black and white striped puffy dot here to designate the location. And then I think, originally I thought I would write it, but I'm going to run out of room and it's going to overlap, which would be weird, at least to me. So I think what I'm going to do is put the dot on, but then down here, I think I'm going to try to find small letter stickers that spell out Lille. So I'm going to take this dot here, and Lille is right about there. So I think push it a little bit closer to the border there. There we go. That's pretty good. Belgium's right across the border, so it was pretty easy for us to get there. Then I have that designated, and then I can put Lille down here. I pulled out all my really small alphabets, or smaller anyway, and I have it narrowed down to 2. Because of this color, even though this is, you know, you're flipping over and like this does not hold any bearing on there, I do have these letter stickers, and there are enough to spell Lille. The funny thing about that city is you need 3 L's. That's kind of a lot in one word, but I do have enough on here, and they're small enough, so that would be fine. But then if you look closely at this picture, you can kind of see there's sort of this mint green tint in here on the poles and things. And I do have these, and it would bring in kind of a nice jolt of color that I don't have on the other part. So I'm struggling a little bit to decide which one I like better, but it will be one of these 2. The more I looked at this, the more I decided that I was really, really liking that color. So there we go. I have Lille. And that can go in the pocket, so then I just have to decide, am I really done with this card or not? I decided I did want to leave the card and not do any stamping or any other embellishing, but I did decide to put in an extra staple there. So I have two, just for visual interest. But now, look at that. It's all done. So here is another one finished for my trip, and this one happens to be in France. Thanks for watching.